All right, what is up, everybody? Shadow Scout 0013 here, reporting in with everybody or all the mods and admins in the Discord, and we're gonna come out today with a video to kind of talk about the factions and kind of like what their strengths are, what they do, and the best ways to deploy them, and everything like that. So I'm gonna allow everyone to go ahead and introduce themselves. We'll go ahead and start with Anthony, and then go to Graham and Emperor.
You guys able to hear me?
Mhm.
Okay, cool. Yeah, like you said, I'm Anthony, chosen one on Discord. I think right now my main faction is still GAR, but I'm still going between GAR and Shadow Collective. So I think those are my two main squeezes at the moment.
Nice.
I'm Graham, or Canadian Bear on the Discord. Um, Main faction, as well as also GAR. Kind of dabble around from there into, I think, everything but Shadow Collective at this point, just whatever fits the moment. But GAR is always the home.
Nice.
I'm Lucas. I'm Emperor Atlantis on the Discord mod, Patreon member. I play CIS mainly, a bit of GAR, and I've been playing for 1.5 years now. So, yeah.
Nice. Well, all right. I'm going to go ahead and just kind of get you guys to go ahead and like and subscribe to the channel and leave a comment down below, and that kind of enters you in to win possible or future giveaways. And then if you want to and haven't already, go ahead and head to the Discord, where everyone kind of posts different lists and ideas and just kind of talks about different stuff going on in Legion and just, you know, tactics and whatever. So it's free. Go ahead and join on in. And then if you haven't, go ahead and become a Patreon member at the Clan of Shadows. We are growing, and it's really nice to see everybody, especially Emperor and the Chosen One and Kitsune and everyone, kind of just come together and support the channel for future giveaways. And so we'll go ahead and talk. Today we're going to go over, like I said, everything about the factions, and we're going to start with the CIS and how they function. And so we know that CIS is supposed to ball together because of their coordinate, and that's kind of how they function, and is because they have AI, and if you don't give them an order, they're going to have to do either a move or an attack or something like a dodge, possibly, depending on the unit. And these guys are also much better at CIS than I am, especially Emperor. So if Emperor, you've got any insights to CIS, feel free to, and then anyone else want to join in, definitely go ahead and chime in.
Yeah. Well, quick disclaimer: I still got a lot to learn, but I do got some experience. Yeah. For starters, I think the thing I learned the first when I started playing isn't really related to CS, more like the unit size, because you play with a lot of B1s, and they have a 6 model unit, sometimes 7 with the heavy, or even 8 is possible. They get like really big activations on the field, and when you deploy them, usually it's better if you deploy them in columns, like columns of 2, instead of in rows, because if they're wide, they get shot at a lot more, and that hurts. That hurts a lot. I mean, especially I know a lot of players play Empire. That's just how it is. A lot of people love the Empire in Star Wars, so you're gonna face a lot of gun lines probably at local events. The chances are high. So yeah, don't deploy wide. That's my first tip for new players. Um, yeah, and with the daisy chaining, like you said, don't deploy them too wide. Like you got range 1, but deploy them a little bit closer if you want to split up later. Like fan out, then you still got that range to do that. And if you're already extended at range 1, like barely on the edge, then you don't got that flexibility. So yeah, those are the 2 biggest things that you need to take into account when you play CS. I
Now,
feel like,
oh, sorry. Did you?
yeah, I'm finished.
Okay, sorry. Like, I don't know. There's, you have a ton of B1s, and spamming B1s is kind of like great. And CIS, I feel like, does really well with high activation lists because the B1s fall so quickly. Now, I think, I don't know if either letting a few vehicles not have orders, or making sure that you leave Maul or Ventress in the bag and have everyone else do orders, they synergize really well with the fact that Asajj and Maul can be left in the bag, so you have better order control with CIS than almost any other faction because of the orders given out. And then if anyone has, does anyone have any like stories about CIS or kind of like, you know, any lists that have popped out to them and any lists that you guys have gone up against that you have found very successful?
Yeah, there was a few weeks ago I played against, I want to say it was a 9-act Asajj list, and I can't remember if it was 4 or 6 units of B1s. But I think it was split down the middle. Half of them had the E5C, the sniper, and the other half had the rocket launcher. And I think there was 2 units of Magna Guards with the RPS, and it was Cad Bane and Asajj Ventress with the T series. So kind of going back to what you were saying about order control, I feel like it's nice to have order control in CAS, but if your AI keyword is okay, like AI move or AI dodge, you can live without it having an order per se. Kind of like the Magna Guards, they have AI move, AI dodge, and I want to say the BX commando droids also have that as well.
Yep.
So it's not terrible to have those in the bag because you're always going to know when you're going to pull them. Same thing with vehicles. I mean, unless like the snail tank is equipped with something like, what is it, engagement protocols or attack protocols where it makes you aim, that kind of sucks. But other than that, I mean, it's not terrible. I think as long as you can focus on getting all your orders onto your B1s and maybe another operative or vehicle, you should be fine. But I haven't seen anything lower than 9 acts for CIS recently. I think 9 is cutting it pretty close, just because you can always cut points and just throw units of B1s there. They're kind of annoying. And one thing that I did learn very early on is they do have white dice shooting, but even if you have like a E5S or a E5C, throwing dice is throwing dice. You know that you're not gonna. It's like a low ceiling, low expectation. If you roll like 5 crits, you know you're doing okay. Their job isn't to really shoot. Their job is to just have order control, contest objectives, grab some crates, and that's it. If you're using them as a fighting unit, you should probably revisit the list and see where you can spend those points at, to have something else that can fight for you.
So do you think B1s should always kind of either go after objectives, or do you think they should kind of spam forward and kind of just take majority of the firepower? What do you think?
I guess in like terms of looking at the objectives real quick, intercept rounds 2, 4, and the last one. Yeah, I would say they should focus more on scoring, but on rounds where you're not able to score, on like intercept where it's like only rounds 2, 4, and 6, you can just kind of sit back and do some plink damage. I think usually from what I've played and seen, the sniper B1s, their job is mainly just to chip away at stuff. I mean, they have what, critical one, and it's a red, white, red and a white or something like that.
Mhm.
I don't know, off the top of my head, but yeah, they're usually just used to plink. Yeah, E5S, one red, one white, critical one. Same thing with the E60R. Those things you just move. If something is in range, go ahead and shoot at it, roll some dice. But if not, having that threat range is really important. And I guess sometimes even I fall victim to it. Getting kind of close. It's not as scary when they're B1s, but the fact that they have such a high amount of dice that they can throw. So, like for example, with the E60R, that's 2 black, 1 red, and then 6 white dice. You're gonna hit something, and it has impact too. So the chances of converting hits on that and impacting and maybe getting a crit, they're fairly decent. So I feel like their main objective should just be to score and then just plink damage. I don't really think that they should be your fighting units per se.
Yeah, I totally agree. The first matches that I played with the E5S, like the first 4 matches, I believe, I just didn't roll anything good. Multiple surges, that you only get 1 crit off of the critical one. In the beginning, I thought it was a really bad upgrade. Usually, I like the rocket launcher more, even though because if they tap, they still roll better dice, like a red and 2 black. I like that more, those chances. And like you said, I mean, you can crit fish, but usually you don't want to deploy them into line of sight anyway. And, just hold them back a few turns. I think that's the also a really big important thing with deployment in CIS, that you don't try to move forward directly. Like maybe if you play a separatist invasion force and you have like 8 activations of B1s, yeah, then you want to just press W and go forward. But if you put some meat on it with some heavies, bide your time. It's not terrible to just wait 1 or 2 turns, until you see a good opening. And yeah, I think that's something a lot of people don't do. I sure didn't in the beginning, and you don't really hear a lot of people say that just play defensive, bide your time, and strike when the moment is right. I think that's important for CS. Just stay out of line of sight. Avoid those snipers, avoid those you know saber throws or something. You know.
Yeah, I think CIS is kind of weak against Pierce. They don't really have too
Yeah.
many impervious units, mostly kind of like the Magna Guards, which is fine. I mean, Pierce is perfect
No,
against
Magna
them.
Gods don't have it.
Oh, in melee, sorry. They have immune to Pierce in
Oh
melee, I
yeah.
think.
Okay.
If it's the.
Yeah, BX have impervious.
Yeah.
Okay. And then I think, do you guys. So I know that you have to have orders on them, really. That's how they thrive. And order control is best with them. And they don't really suffer from suppression. They're going to need to get force suppression before they start doing anything. They don't benefit from suppression, I think, right?
No.
No, they don't
Only
benefit from it.
Right. And then until they get that 4, usually because of the Kalani or some sort of attack droid, do you think that they actually suffer from having only the courage to mostly units, leaders, or do you think that suppression really doesn't matter? Should a CIS player really worry about suppression or not?
Depends on the list.
Yeah,
If the
let's
enemy
say
has
that.
list force, I've been in that spot. B1s are running away, panicking. That's horrible. Especially if you have that condition that you cannot remove suppression unless you touch terrain with your leader. That's tough. That you don't have to worry about it, but if it stacks a lot and those B1s start fleeing, they also break the chain. So it's not something you should just disregard. Usually, if suppression amounts to too much, just take a recovery action. It's not bad to lose an action on a B1 if he's not shooting. He's not going to hit anyway, so you might as well take the activation, let it live another turn. Um, that's usually the solution. So yeah, recovery. And
Yeah.
yeah.
Go ahead.
Oh no, go ahead.
No,
No.
I was
Yeah.
done. I wanted to know what you were saying.
I think probably CIS more than any of the other factions is probably more scared of Krennic Invader, just for their suppression bomb cards. Just because there is that sense of I can go in, I suppression whatever, but if it's with the new suppression changes and panic rules, it could lead you into like an overconfidence trap, and then they just drop that, and it's Dooku's the only Courage 3, right? So
I
Yeah.
believe so. Yeah.
Yep, the only Courage 3 commander they have. Kind of similar to, almost like Rebels. Rebels only has Jin and Luke Courage 3. And then I think Empire, they're doing really well with Courage. And then with Republic, you have Anakin Courage 3, you have Yoda 4, you have, Obi-Wan, which is 3. So,
Padme 3 as well. Yeah.
mhm.
Yeah. Rebels got operative Luke, right, with 4.
Yeah, he's got 4.
Yeah, but can you use his Courage bubble?
I think so. Let me.
I'm not sure actually.
just throw the rebel officer in front of everybody, and then you can.
Exactly, because then when he dies, can't you nominate, or can you nominate an operative, or can you have to nominate a core,
Of course,
or
right?
if your commander dies, and you have to nominate a commander, can you nominate an operative Luke?
I believe it has to be cores, right? You need to nominate core troopers.
I think it goes down the chain of like if you can do a heavy if it has the field commander one. So I think that would take precedent over it, and then.
Because
I don't know. I've never been in that situation where I lose a commander and I have to do something else. Usually have like
Me
one or
neither.
two.
Because I know that when you're infiltrating, at least with Iden in them, you have to nominate a core or special forces, I think. And you can't nominate an operative. But if your commander dies,
We look it up and put it on the Discord, the answer.
mm-hmm, we'll have to. But any final thoughts for CIS? Any kind of things that you want to add for anyone who is either playing CIS and kind of wants to know more about it and or how to control it better? Any other ideas?
Yeah, kind of like what Emperor Lentis was saying. Kind of stack them in twos. I think sometimes people forget, and even I do sometimes. The coordinate or direct keyword is from any unit in the model, any model in the unit. So you can have, if you're like lacking that distance, you can have, a group of 5 or 4 in a ball together or in like a row together, and then just have one range one away from the unit leader to continue that chain or to continue that direct. And even if it has line of sight, you can still do it. So yeah, just if you're like in a small area and you don't have enough room, I would just say try to cohere your units in a way where you have most of them hidden. Because I think now even with the cover rules, you can still like only lose one model if only one is visible. Regardless of if it has to roll for 6 shots, only one is gonna die. So put them behind cover and to where they can see each other. And yeah, it's from any mini in the unit, so just don't forget that. Also, try not to have deployments like I'm trying to think right now. Disarray.
Disarray.
Don't ever take disarray. Veto it. If
Never.
it's the first one, take it away, please. Just don't even bother. I did that once and I've never done it again. Don't pick disarray. I would say anything that really, really huddles you up together. I would stay away from. The only other one is like maybe hemmed in on certain occasions.
Hamden is a weird one. It can backfire. It can be really good. But depends on the objective in the list. That's a hard one.
Yeah, I would say anything that kind of spreads you a little too thin. So hemmed in, danger close, battle lines, maybe advanced positions, just because you want to have enough room to have all your units in and not necessarily have them all together in like one corner. You want to have them at least, sharing some space.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think that would be
Danger
my.
close can be good. Danger close maybe is the best objective if you run like a melee list with either Dooku or Ventress Maul, Grievous, and then just with like 2 or 3 Magna Guards. If you go full melee like that, you want to deploy close. Like battle lines and danger close are really good because you're just so close to the enemy. A couple of moves, like one turn, get shot at, and then the next turn, charge in, go ham. Like especially Magna Guards, they do so much damage. They're really carrying the faction at the moment. So
Yeah, and the rocket isn't cumbersome.
Yeah.
And then Canadian Bear, I think you had something.
Oh, so 2 little things. Unless Legion Quick Guide is out of date, promote. Unless it's like a card, like Iden or Cassian, it's just a trooper unit can get promoted.
Okay.
So I guess operatives are available.
Okay.
And then I think the one time, uniquely, like kind of like one time for like B or CIS that you want your B wants to be out in the open when it comes to deployment is if you're running the steps. Just because you don't want them to take early damage from like a Leia or a Veers or something without those dodges stacked up already from moving in. So yeah, no, I think that's kind of like the one like unique exception, and also with their coordinate, they can coordinate to vehicles or troopers. So you have something like a Kalani, you can coordinate to the steps, go down their line, go to your B1s from there. Now you just have Kalani in the back.
Nice. Yeah, and do you guys think that the CIS battle force is worth it and worth playing?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, it's done fairly well in some local tournaments. I mean, their command cards are about as decent as the regular ones that you get in the core set. So
yeah, just because I don't see very many.
Better.
Yeah, I don't see very many people running just the battle force itself. So I wasn't sure. You see everybody playing Blizzard, and a lot of people playing Echo based defenders, and then even fewer playing 501st. But then haven't quite seen so many CIS, battle
It's harder to
forces. So,
paint.
say what?
I think, yeah, it's harder to paint. I think a lot of people don't have the, you need a lot of E5Ss usually. You need a lot of repair droids, depending on the list. You just need to assemble all those B1s. I mean, I don't even have them all assembled, and I play this faction only. So I got six
Yeah,
of them at the moment. It's
I
so
think
much work
yeah,
assembling.
uniquely compared to the other ones, I think that one takes the most willpower to get it to the table.
Oh my god, the carrying.
Yeah.
I would agree.
Yeah.
Well, all
But
right. So, wait,
the
anything
other
else to
one's so
add?
easy. For now, I don't think so.
All right. So let's get into GAR. So I know that the Chosen One, or Anthony and Canadian Bear, I know that you guys definitely play GAR, and y'all have been playing it far longer than I have because I haven't played it at all. So if you guys have any cool insights as to how they work and how they play, you go ahead. I know that they have to stay together and stay within range one of each other for the most part for token sharing because that's what they're the best at is token sharing rather than order control. They can have pretty good order control, I'm assuming, because you've got your generic commander who can kind of coordinate and then you are direct, and then you also have Echo who can coordinate, and then you've got Yoda who can give out tons of tokens and stuff. But for the most part, order control is not the same as CIS, but order token sharing is where they thrive at. You guys have any really cool ideas, or strategies, theories, or what is your take on GAR?
I guess, yeah, I think probably Gar's main like crux when it comes to like issuing orders and that kind of stuff is it's similar to the Echo Base kind of mentality because you want to use the fire support, but all the I mean, Anakin's now better with his update to his 2-pip now that he can actually hand out an order to someone besides himself. But just with that want to get into the fire support, set up those plays, and once you're kind of going for oftentimes those turns where you're trying to make plays, you really have to debate like, am I going for a 1-pip? That's not really going to get me those big die pools, which are really handy now with the new cover changes, or do I want to sit back, wait, and not have such a big upfront power play, but have the big wall of dice that's waiting for someone to move up into?
Yeah, I saw
Yeah,
on
I
Friday
would say
Night
it's pretty
Fights.
fair.
Yeah, on Friday Night Fights, Sean had some huge dice pulls throwing into the snail and some other guys into Dooku. I think he one shot at Dooku, and that was insane to see that many dice in one dice pool because of that fire support.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're
Yeah, fire
awesome.
support can be
It's a
can be
drug.
nasty.
And it's
Can be
crazy
nasty.
because they have very few activations. I'm seeing way more 8 activation lists for GAR and 9 almost max because of the fact that token sharing is a lot easier and they can share those surges for defense and those dodges and the fire support and pass. I think the pass mechanic has benefited probably the Republic tremendously more than almost any other faction just because of the fact that they kind of they're so expensive to begin with, and with the fire support almost on every core unit, that's just insane. But yeah, I think it's hard for me to want to play it because it's so low in activations, and I'm used to like 9 or 10, and so seeing these 8, have you guys been not weirded out or excited, but what are your guys' reactions to seeing lower activation lists, especially in Republic?
If you can make it work, you can make it work. I mean, with the way that vehicles now block line of sight and give cover, um, I mean, you can throw anything in front of, you know, some phase ones or phase twos or literally anything and give them some cover. It doesn't take that much to move that vehicle out of cover, and then fire support to protect them a little bit. I think what people do a little bit more, and I've definitely done it, is the urge to fire support everything just because of the amount of dice that you can throw. Um, but I would say if it's around where you're not necessarily scoring, or if it's something that you're just trying to get out of the way as soon as possible, that's probably where fire support's the most important. Otherwise, I would say just move, dodge, move, aim, or aim dodge if you're within range one of literally anything, because there's no reason to not do anything in GAR. Like, there's never like a wasted activation, quote unquote. You know, you can double move to maybe set up a fire support for another round. You can aim dodge to share if you're around somebody. And I guess the way that people may see it, for GAR as order control, you can have decently good order control if you choose like a clone commander and you have like the regular one pip, the what is it? Let me look it up
The
real quick.
vehicle one, where
Yeah, the synchronized offensive.
Mhm.
You know, you have direct. You can direct to fives, and you can coordinate to another clone trooper. Then you have ATRT, and then you can coordinate to something else, and then you have almost like 3 or 4 activations where you can just fire support if you need to. Um, and they're pretty good at getting orders out there. One thing that I have been toying around with, don't know if I'm gonna implement it yet, is doing a fives unit with a clone comms tech guy with the HQ uplink. I just don't know if I can justify spending that much points on it. Let me pull it up real quick. I think it's like
That's almost
115
100.
points. That's 115 points.
More than ARC Trooper.
You
That's a
know,
lot.
yeah, that's why I stare at it and I'm like, that's a lot of points. But I wouldn't have to do anything with him. I would just move and recover. He would never really see the light of day. He's just there to hand out orders, I guess. But
That's an
it's
expensive
tough.
order to generate.
Yeah, it is. But
and
that's what I'm saying.
and I know that with the new points changes coming soon, hopefully some of the especially vigilance and all that stuff. I know Canadian Bear, you had an amazing idea, especially for vigilance and the pipping.
Mhm. Yeah, it's like the idea for pipping vigilance. I'll give credit to Sean, or from the Terrain Studio. That was like his idea, was pipping it like you do with the named units. Like there's only one clone Captain Rex or Padme, um, or I guess the better example would be Vader and Luke, because there's two versions of them, or Boba Fett. Um, so not for like all. I would My idea would be then just expanding that to, you could probably do that to all of the command upgrades. Because I mean the main issue with um, vigilance and I guess aggressive tactics um, was spamming them, and they got the big points increases for both those cards. Aggressive tactics probably would be fine at 10 if it was pipped. Um, you could probably bring vigilance back down to maybe like, I
6.
mean, 5 was honestly it was a fine point.
Yeah, I think 5 was fine.
If you only took one, it was like, what? Yeah, okay. um, but it was the proliferate. Yeah, I'm not going to try to say that word again. Get tongue tied some more. But it was just the spamming of vigilance that became the issue. Because the other ones though, like you just don't see more than one anyway, so it's like might as well.
Right, and I think they're very nicely priced. I just think, especially it hurts the Republic so much to have these high priced, really valuable upgrades when everything else is already so expensive. And so if doing that into the game would help Republic, I think it's needed because, Republic, I used to see Republic at the top a lot. They were doing really, really well. And then Empire eventually, I think once I think they did something to Vader or anything like that, and then Blizzard Force, it just skyrocketed to the top. And I think maybe, hopefully, once Thrawn and or the Inquisitors start to come out, you'll still see them on top. But yeah, Republic, as soon as they get, hopefully, the Bad Batch, hopefully they can start seeing some, improvement in how many people play them. And hopefully after these points adjustments, if they were to even consider that pipping, that would be amazing for Republic because you'd probably see better Republic lists. And here, and then a quick transition: do you guys think that Republic needs support unit or units like Padme? Is she almost kind of not needed, but is a support unit who just generates tokens very important in Republic, or do you think just having a straight, attack list is the best?
I mean, I guess it depends on what your battle deck is looking like. I mean, that would be my take on it. Like, if you're not gonna do anything that requires you to really be hindered by a force user, I would say then yeah, support units fine like Padme, which they should let her share her sandwise again. Just saying. Um, but I think it's fine. It's definitely, can I fit Padme in this? If not, okay, how can I make sure that I keep these guys alive? And is there another source of token generating? I guess that would be my take on it.
I've seen R2D2 being used as like a substitute for token generation with C3PO. I won't
Yeah,
say, yeah, I won't say it is as good, but I've seen people doing it, and especially with like a lot of more ATRTs are showing up more to attack against Dark Troopers, and they have surge to hit, so they're amazing to use as fire support starters. Like if you're gonna fire support, do it with something that has a surge conversion. And yeah, then R2D2 is awesome. You can repair some stuff, maybe do the secret mission. And locally, people are playing more GAR anyway with great success. So yeah,
Yeah, have y'all seen people doing really well with Gar?
yeah,
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 surprisingly.
yeah.
One thing that Gar would really like is a non-supportive operative. just just some other option.
Yeah, they don't have like
Um,
any operatives really.
yeah.
Well, my choices are
Bring in
Padme
Hondo.
and R2D2. Like, why?
Yep.
What other operatives would you guys think would be best for Republic?
Hondo.
Oh, maybe some Jedi temple guards, maybe. I don't know. I mean, Empire's getting Inquisitors, so
You know that one that Rebels took from us first?
Yes, I was wondering when she would come up for Republic.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, that'd be
Yeah,
cool.
no.
I mean, I think generic Jedi would be pretty cool for operatives. Maybe, if you had admirals, maybe, Admiral Yularen and all that stuff, if they could come in just to be another either operative or support, or do you guys think there's enough support in regard, or do you think you need more attack units or more units that are kind of more gun-ho? What do you guys think?
it's kind of hard to say. Give me more support units that generate tokens, because the whole thing with GAR is they can share tokens. I will say I think it would be cool to have named clones as operative units. You know,
Yeah.
that'd be kind of cool.
Yeah, I had it on the other day. I had the Clone Wars on just from my puppy, and the episode with Plo Koon when they were escaping the ion cannon that Grievous and all of them had. Seeing some of is it Wolf's? The Wolf Squad kind of was with him, I think. Was he?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So seeing some more of those guys would be awesome. Seeing Gregor, or seeing some of the Commandos, and or seeing more Plo Koon and some of the, staff. I don't know. I think that would be pretty cool to see for Gar.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They just need more Jedi's. That would be Jedi's have enough potential to be support. I mean,
Yeah.
they have the force and the meditation and everything. Like you see it in Yoda also, and I think there's great potential. I mean, I don't care if there are not that many operatives. Just put them as named, more commanders. And like we said in the last podcast, just change the rule that they can build like Shadow Collective, so you can like swap around operatives and commanders a bit more. You have that flexibility then, and then they would be fixed, I think. So
There's one more thing that I really think that Republic and that CIS needs, and Empire and the Rebels have them, and it's the emplacement troopers like Mark II and the mortars. So if and the Republic and CIS have strike teams, and that's fine. But I think that mortar idea of a mortar strike team could be a really good idea, just because it's something a little bit different and would allow probably Republic, I should say, to have a cheaper activation, so it's not so crazy expensive to have just 8 or 9 activations. Do you guys think that that's a good idea, or do you think not?
Um, I would say, I guess this is going back to the strike teams. Just give everybody high velocity. Just please. I hate having to spend an aim to make it lethal. Because then if it's like a regular hit, like, oh, dodge, it defeats the keyword. I'm like, I don't know, like, it's so
Yeah.
deflating. It's like,
I
I got a hit. I'm gonna spend it. And it's like, okay, dodge. All right,
I
well,
would
whatever.
totally be fine with both CIS and GAR strike teams getting critical one. It was their way of getting over a second damage blocker like the Civil War one have. It was unique. They'd at least have to roll or surge or a crit to save that aim if they had one, especially for CIS if they had one, to make it pierce anyway. So, like, yeah, it's more to armor, but still, it's one. um, I would love to see for GAR specifically, and you could probably do it also for CIS. Would be a militia as a third core option. I think
Yes,
you could
I
do
agree.
an emplacement version for each, or realistically, you probably do an emplacement trooper of just B1s also. I think you see that often enough in the show. Because the interesting thing with like the GAR one is the emplacement troopers historically have fire support, but I don't. You'd have to come up with something unique for the GAR one at least.
Yeah,
So
you've
it's
got
not.
the rebels on not Ryloth. I mean, you did have some people on Ryloth, but there was another one that had Saw Gerrera and his sister and all of them fighting on a planet. Why can't we get some of those kind of rebel or militia men, I guess, in Republic at some point?
Nah, give me Gungans. Give them emplacement troopers. That makes sense.
Oh yeah.
They need the shield generator thing. That would be pretty cool because then if you have since you have less activations, having that kind of shield that stays still, maybe something like that. So like if you're within range 2 of this thing, you cancel a hit or you cancel something like that. You cancel like 2 hits. That'd be, I feel like, not the worst, but maybe it's on the command cards where it lasts a turn. That'd be pretty cool to see.
I could see
Yeah.
that.
Yeah. And then that could go with the Gungan commander or something like that. That'd be pretty cool.
Yeah.
Anything
We have
else?
keywords already on the droidicast, so mechanically it's already in the game. It's not that hard.
Right.
Yeah,
Well-
I mean, clone troopers in the Clone Wars, they have they've used the E-web, so I don't see why we don't have an E-web esque kind of thing there. But what do I know?
Yeah,
I
the
don't like that.
precursor, right? Or was it the E-web in the Bad Batch? They used one.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can't remember exactly which episode it was, but they did have an E-web, and
Episode
they did have
2, I
emplacement
believe.
ones.
It's,
Well, any other thoughts for Republic?
Nope.
I guess one thing.
Ahsoka.
Yeah. Breakthrough is it's trap for Gar more than any other faction. Because
Really?
everything you want to do does not work well with breakthrough, unless you're bringing like barks or something.
Because you're mostly
Yeah.
trying to ball up and kind of stay moving slow and taking those aims and dodges, or what do you think is the trap of breakthrough?
That and fire support, pretty much everything that Gar wants to do is hunker
Limited.
down, come at me.
Okay. So do you
So
think
if
they
you
suffer
fight
a lot
first,
from
it's
movement? Sorry.
sorry, my bad.
Yeah.
If you play Rex with a lot of scout and like ATRTs and scouts, everything is scout. Does it still not work? I mean, I never played.
It would.
Like the first.
I mean, it would work better, just because you already get that boost off the start, and that one would be definitely easier depending on deployment and whatnot.
Yeah.
But non Rex list at least.
It just depends who you play, honestly, because you're staying together. You don't want to have any outliers out there to kind of just die alone. So even if you do have recon intel and you can scout out, let's just say ideally you have breakthrough. Everything you have has recon intel. You have Rex with recon intel and scouting party, and then you have advanced positions. So now Rex gets scout 3 with recon with his scouting party. So now everything has Scout 3. Your ATRTs now have Scout 2. You're theoretically closer, but you're still going to be in a ball together. You don't want to have any outlier stray. Like your whole army is going to move together. And if there's a lot of terrain or there's just a lot of obstacles in your way, and let's just say there's a force user that can pick you off pretty easily, you don't want anybody that's just going to straggle by themselves because they're just easy picking, even if it's a red die save. Like
I was gonna say
it's still pretty bad.
the pikes that can go in, Republic, they can kind of separate and, either do what they need to do separately, or do you guys think that it's even worth it to bring pikes?
I've never experimented with them, so I couldn't really say.
Yeah,
I know a lot
neither
of people have
I.
success with them, but yeah, I can't. I don't know. Thematically, I just can't bring myself to do it.
I think pre-vigilance, yeah, people were bringing them. They would bring one pike and one pike capo, and then ploy to get around Anakin's flock guard. That was pretty mainline for a while. But then vigilance went up to 12 points, and now they're like, oh well, I guess there goes that.
Mm-hmm. And then any really good deployment and or other objectives besides breakthrough to stay away from and or take?
Rollout, deployment, rollout. You're gonna have at least one vehicle, so rollout I would always include if you have barks, ATRTs, or literally any vehicle rollout for sure.
Yep.
Okay.
Rollout.
I think the one that you want to avoid is probably battle lines, depending on what you're going up against. Just like we were saying with like CIS, it's just the amount of like possibility of flanking and whatnot. Um, but if you're not going up against something that has speeders or creature troopers, then battle lines isn't a terrible option if you see that
Yeah.
pop up in your opponent's deck. But other than
I would be
Yeah.
very cautious with disarray if you don't have any vehicles,
Yeah.
because you're forced to place at least one unit in those deployments, and it doesn't count if you have a strike team. It has to start in the deployment.
Mm.
So you can't put a strike team on the other side and then scout out. You still have to put one unit in that deployment zone.
Well, you could just not scout, right?
Yeah, you could, but I mean, I usually do scout anyways because I want to get closer to my army and not necessarily be vulnerable to flanking. So it's like the chances of you scouting on disarray are pretty high, just because you want to scout behind cover usually, or you just want to get closer to an objective. And you don't want to waste activations getting closer or doing something that you don't already that you're out of range for. Um, so I kind of just don't pick disarray. If I have barks, I don't really care. I'll put like one or two over there, and then those are pretty good flanking units since they do surge to hit, and they're really good fire supporter. So it's not terrible, but yeah, battle lines in disarray, I would just avoid. Everything else is pretty good. Advanced positions is nice. Hemmed in. I would say, let me see. Hemmed in. Hemmed in can be pretty bad if you don't have a force user, I'll say. And you're the blue player. It can be pretty bad because you're backed into a corner. And now, I guess, yeah, if you don't have a force user, I would just not have hemmed in.
unless you're doing like that the Wookiee skew.
Yeah, unless you're doing
Go
that,
heavy
yeah,
into
that's
Wookiees,
fine.
then yeah.
Yeah, I would say that's fine. But yeah, hemmed in can get pretty nasty. Also, try not to. Well, I guess what's your take on what is it? Minefield. I'm pretty meh on
If you have
minefield.
barks, it's okay, I think.
Hmm.
I think because it's do they? Let me see. What do they?
Maybe with the token sharing, it kind of helps a little bit to negate some of the hits and stuff.
Yeah,
Load up on dodges, then put one sacrificial lamp, and then you can only share one dodge, right? One dodge, one search maximum.
Mm-hmm.
Hmm.
Yeah.
for the clones. So yeah, like if they take a dodge and something else had gone first and taken a dodge too, you move up. As long as they don't roll the crit, you're not rolling saves.
I think. Let me see. For the minefield, is it at the beginning of before you place any units, or is that after? I always forget.
Yeah, you'll place it before you deploy, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I would just say if it's in your battle deck and you have something to sacrifice, that's cool. Otherwise, your opponent can really box you out if you have something that does scout.
And do you
Gets a
think
little
for
trigger on scout.
Republic they should almost always take a Jedi or no?
It's hard to say right now.
Yeah, I mean, I've had luck with getting away with it. It was really hard, and it went to like round 6. It's possible. You just have to play really, really well, and sometimes it's just an uphill battle the entire time, depending on what you do. Also another thing, I guess if you're not taking a force user or if you have expensive units like a DC-15, I usually always include limited visibility in my battle deck just to keep them safe, especially if they're strike teams, especially like Empire strike teams, range 1 to 5, high velocity. Nah, it's okay. I usually try to go for limited visibility just so they can get close.
Yeah, I think if you're not taking a Jedi, I think
Yep.
at least with how the metas are like working out right now, is you probably then should take some either one of the Wookiees, at least one of them, even if it's just naked. Just so you have something for when inevitably it crashes into your lines and you don't really have much of an answer.
Yeah.
I
Otherwise,
think for sorry.
No, go ahead. Go ahead.
No, I think for limited visibility, if you have some kind of like what Anthony said, if you want to protect units and you like prevent the enemy from shooting with that card, I think that can be really good. If you want to stay back a couple of turns, bide your time, set up good, move into cover, set up good firing lanes, all that good stuff, and you have like a Wookiee or a Magna Guard or IRG or a Jedi, Callus, something with good melee to back, to countercharge an enemy coming towards you. I think limited visibility can be really good. Like also with a clone gun line. I never thought about it, but Anthony just said it. I'm like, yeah, I see that working. So I agree with that. And it's better than like something like Minefield. If you have fortified positions, supply drop, maybe clear conditions, then you have 3 good ones. Just put limited visibility in there. Maybe you got a good matchup for it. Worst thing that's gonna happen is that you cannot fire in turn 1 on someone. Well, big deal. If you don't have if you have no strike teams, it's not that big of a deal.
yeah, I think right now
Yeah.
I like having Minefield in my deck just because I like having things that will distract from objectives or deployments potentially. Um, and because I do not want rapid reinforcements as an option right now.
That's fair.
Yeah. So Minefield's kind of like taking that rapid reinforcement slot right now for me.
Do you have recover the supplies in your battle deck?
Typically I do. I mean, I got to do the meme the other day with Cody, and I double checked a box with his 1/5 because why not?
That's fair. Yeah, I feel like it'd be like an outlier situation, but I was playing as Rebels a few months ago against somebody with a Rex list, and they had Minefield and Recover the Supplies, and I put my supplies on his side of the map, like closer to his, and then I put the mines range 1 outside of his deployment to entice to come this way. And I think like round 2 or 3, like he had like 4 activations out of his 9 left. Like it was pretty bad. Yeah, it was pretty bad. Like,
Man.
yeah,
That's bad.
he tried to scout out, and I placed it in a way where he didn't want to be fighting all the way over here just to come get my boxes. So he had to scout towards me, and I like boxed him in. I think it was major offensive. So I put one like kind of near his corner and kind of by my boxes, so he had to come to me, and then I just kind of L-shaped it to everybody pointing in the center so he wouldn't come get the box. And then I had, I think like Luke or Din go get the boxes for me, and he just was coming this way. And it was just like, nope, you're not getting that box. Almost I'm getting this box. I think round two, Rex died from fire support from my Rebel vets. Yeah, it was nasty. I'm not gonna lie.
That's awesome.
Well, all right. Does anyone want to add anything else to GAR? And I think even after this, I think what we can do is we can pause, and then even next time we could go over Rebels and Empire, and then maybe even do a little Shadow Collective as well. Um, is there anything else for? I know we've been talking for a while, and side note, I really appreciate you guys being here and talking about this. This is awesome. Is there anything else for CIS or for Republic that you've either thought about that we didn't mention, or any other advice to people who are either getting started to CIS or GAR, or who have only been playing a little bit? Any kind of stuff you would want to tell them as an experienced player?
Let me see. I guess one thing that I would, and I guess this might be just me, it would be cool to have a operative Grievous, or at least give him entourage. I feel like that would be cool because usually you see him with Magna Guards, and I mean, who else has? Krennic has entourage, Moff Gideon has entourage,
Palpatine.
Palpatine has entourage. I can't remember if anybody else has entourage. That'd be kind of cool. I mean, even on one of his command cards, I think it's 2-pip or 3-pip. He has like Magna Guards with him, so that'd be cool to have entourage. It'd be nice.
Yeah, that's a huge
Definitely.
Empire thing, I think, as well, with Moff and Krennic and Palpatine. That'd be
For
cool.
CIS, I think if they released Newt Gunray with like an entourage droidicas, so you can take 4, that would be interesting if you can take 4. Like, they're still not good, but if you have 4 of them, with all of the suppressive and the shields, maybe. I mean,
Yeah,
it's a
that's-
cool idea.
that's-
It's thematic.
You know what? You can do that. You can take and do like 4 droidicas, and then on your first move, ball mode, speed 3 across everything, and flank something, and then just take out a ball mode, and then now you're just speed 1 shooting, speed
That's
1
how they
shooting.
do it in the show too.
Yeah, like I don't.
Those droidicas
They need
obviously
to make
really
droidicas better. How about that? They just need to make droidicas better.
I would
Yeah.
love to see the sniper version of the droidicas.
Yeah, that would be super.
Yeah.
Cool. Like what, 1 episode?
Yeah, it was like in 1 or 2 episodes.
The sniper droidicas? What do you mean?
Yeah,
there was
essentially.
sniper
So like
droidicas.
the metal headpiece that like wraps around to create like the back of the ball comes down, and they've just got like a sniper cannon that comes out this little slot.
Yeah. The liberation of Alderaan in the Clone Wars, I believe it was in that arc.
I think so. Yeah.
Man,
The,
that's
the,
cool.
the one where they get into the streets and like demolish that AAT with the whole CGI. Yeah, it's fuzzy.
Yeah, I
It's been a while that I watched it. The Sniper Droidica was awesome.
Yeah, that'd be an interesting kind of one, because that would probably pair up nicely with the spiders and all that kind of stuff, and build more into
Yeah.
I think spiders are going to keep making a comeback, especially with the Ion. Yeah, especially with the Ion. Okay.
What happened? Oh, yeah.
Interesting. Okay. But yeah, I think the spider droids will make a good comeback with the Ion and Dark Troopers, because that Ion's really going to help those Dark Troopers not move. And if you can pin down Dark Troopers from making that speed 3 the whole round, basically, because the 2 speed 1 moves eventually at some point, then that's going to slow them down. And maybe even next time that we do this, we can kind of go in depth about the Dark Troopers, because they keep winning and they keep doing a lot of damage no matter what happens, and everyone is trying to come up with impact lists, which I feel like takes away from the rest of the game, and kind of like everyone's trying to prep for Dark Troopers, and either people really want to play them or don't play them, and you're prepared for them, or you're really underprepared for the thing ahead. So maybe instead of fixing Dark Troopers, we can kind of just keep coming about different strategies to overtake them, and or how we play the game basically can kind of change, and see what other things we could do against those Dark Troopers.
Yeah, good.
But that is mostly it for today. That's all the time that we really have. And I really appreciate you guys coming and being a part of this. Thank you, Canadian Bear, for being our guest and sitting through this and being here. Thank you, Anthony and Chosen One, for doing so much for the Patreon and giveaways and stuff. And thank you, Emperor, for being here since day one and being a Patreon member and doing so much with the channel. I really do appreciate all of you guys. And again, if you haven't already, go ahead and head to the Discord where you can talk to us and ask questions. And at some point, I'll have that we'll have a stream where we can get the other Patreon members and or you guys to kind of talk to us and answer your questions, and that would be a really fun thing to do. And what you would do is you would just go to that live Q&A into the Discord, and then if you haven't already, go ahead and head to the Patreon to support the channel. And at some point, it would be really fun to be able to pay all of you guys to do all of this, just because this is time, and I really do appreciate you guys. And if I can give you something from the Patreon, that like I don't use any of that for me. I just use it for giveaways and forever whatever we can do with this channel. So the more money that people want to donate through Patreon, I really want it to eventually help you guys and help with giveaways. So keep that up, guys, and become a member. Even for $1 is fine. That's perfect. But I really want to appreciate you guys. Anything else that you guys want to say, or anything you want to shout out?
Get ready for another giveaway. I got some alternate art cards. Let me see if I can go grab them real quick. I got a whole bunch of them.
Yeah. Yeah, I love the giveaways. I love that the community's growing. That's join the Discord, go talk. If you ever need a rule question, advice on painting, we all try to help each other. It's so much fun. I really didn't imagine last December that it would be so much fun to be in this community. Yeah.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, man.
It's nice getting to jump
some,
on.
Some nice little cards. They have a commander, rebel. I don't know.
Oh, those look awesome.
I'm trying to find some more from different factions. So.
Yep. I'm sorry. The call's about to stop itself, but I really do appreciate you guys, and I'll let you know about next week, and we'll do those giveaways another time. And if you haven't already, check out Canadian Bear. So all right, so it's just us, and so with your help, we've been able to do these giveaways for the channel, and it's really just thank you so much for all the stuff that you've done to help. And the Battle Force box, we've been able to get that taken care of to Nagata, and that was awesome out in France, trying to do Amazon gift card for him. And now you said some little promo cards that look pretty cool that we'd like to give away. So all you have to do is be a subscriber, leave a comment down below, join the Discord for another chance for that giveaway, and then if you become a Patreon member, even more. And anything else that you wanted to add for the end?
Nah, just subscribe, keep watching, be active in the Discord. It's nice having some discourse in there. It's pretty fun.
Yeah, it is. It's nice to see everybody kind of like joining in and coming together and seeing, Squirrel, Canadian Bear, seeing, the Auburn alum, and
the one that paints really good.
Yeah, because I've been looking at that work in progress and stuff, and seeing everybody, especially your Commander Cody and Canadian Bear's Wookiees, and Susano, who's coming back and repainting his old 212th to 501st. Seeing everyone's paint is awesome and insane. It's so cool to see how everyone does all this stuff.
Yeah, maybe we'll do a paint giveaway. That'd be cool. Maybe an alternate card paint giveaway. We'll see. Yeah,
I'd like to do a painting thing, and that's what even Emperor was talking about, is eventually trying to, or I think you as well were talking about it, people who are submitting all of their hobby stuff, anyone who we can have a painting contest and, pick a winner and give them a promo card or anything like that. And, either if you want to announce that, I'll give you complete reign whenever you are ready. If you want to go ahead and eventually have one and or make the rules for it, like here's the things that you need to paint and or whatever. I'm not a huge painter because I kind of suck and I'm super busy, so I usually hire somebody to commission it. So I wouldn't be entered in, but it'd be nice to see everybody getting together and trying to paint for the Discord and just for a
Yeah.
prize. That'd be awesome.
Yeah, we can do something like that. Maybe it would be like a top 3, maybe probably, yeah, we could do something with the promos. I have some more hopefully on the way. I'm looking at somebody else's lot, so we'll see.
Nice. Well, all right. That is mostly it for us. I know we've kind of cut out, and the other guys had to wind up leaving, and that's perfectly fine. We kind of ran out of time there, but I really appreciate all of you guys for watching, and I hope that you continue watching. And if there's any other ideas that you guys have or anything else that you want us to discuss, feel free to either post it in the Discord and or post it in the comments down below. Anything else that you want to add?
Nah, keep playing, keep painting.
Perfect.
That's about it.
All right, guys. Well, I will catch y'all next time, and hopefully you guys have a great weekend. And yeah, may the force be with you. Deuces.